Welcome to my program, GIS Software Package Deluxe. Today I'll be talking about project number 2 for Computer Engineering 160 for Ken Arnold's class in the fall 2012 semester. It starts off with 4 include files, a couple defines, 6 functions, some global variables that will be used throughout the program, and some control variables for inside the main program, for loop controller, a bulk amount for editing the arrays, and character strings for program flow. Alright, so let's get into the program. Starts off with a project intro function which displays some text once before a do while loop which effectively runs the program continuously until it breaks or returns. Every time it comes back, it will bring a main interface which will help the user run the program, flush the buffer. Then you type in a string that will control the flow. We reset the total village count and the total sick count, and then recalculate them at every loop, because when you run and then say load and then you decide to load a different one, it will just add those, so that measure has been added for correct values. If you need to figure out how to run the program, the main interface will redirect you to README or help, which basically reads in a file character by character, and it is this file right here. I don't know if you got it. Alright, and then the next function is display. Display goes to console output. Well, it uses the function called console output, but what that does is prints out all the data, checks for grammar, prints totals, prints each area, how much there was, and then it prints the chart. Then it'll return to the main menu. Then we have run. So there's two ways to enter. You read in a string, you type in single or bulk. Single works by going into a while loop, which you enter 1 to quit the while loop or 0 to continue. If you enter 0, then you enter two more variables, integer variables. The first one decides the health, 0 is healthy, 1 is sick, and then you enter decide location, which tells the program which location that sick or healthy villager was in. I'll only go over one because they're essentially the same. For a sick person, it will add 1 to the array location that the user has entered, and so it'll do the area sick and area villager, because 1 sick means there's also 1 villager. For deciding for a healthy, the only difference is in the code is that you don't have the area sick. You have your null entry catcher, and your decide continue 1 breaks the while loop. For bulk, you type in sick or healthy for which type of file you'd like to enter, and then asking what location, you enter the location, and then ask how many, and type in whatever number you want, except for negative numbers. Don't type negative numbers in because negative people don't exist. And if the location is valid, then for sick it will add how many you chose to area villager and area sick, and it will tell you how much you just entered. And if it was wrong, here's your null entry. Healthy is basically the same thing, except for you don't have the area sick. Alright, let's move on. Load. This is the quickest way, and it's how I debug the program. 1 through 4 all are just random arrays that will be filled, and it uses sran time null, which seeds it with the time of the clock, which will always give you a random value. But that's just for fun, having four. The fifth one is the only other effective one, which sets it to 0. Alright, let's move on. Save goes to file output function. Let's check out that guy. File output is basically the same as console output, except for you have to open your file pointer and then set your file pointer to the file you want it to go to. So project 2 results. Let's see if we have, well, let's check this guy out first. So here's your null catcher for the file pointer, and then instead of printf, it does fprintf to data out. Essentially the same, and then you have to close it. Let's see if I have one already saved. Yep, this was the last entry I did. I'll go over this more later. And then when the program runs, it recalculates it. So here's how you calculate the total sick. Calculate the total village by using the total sick plus each village. And only two more functions. We have quit, which returns 0, and we have else, which prints out a bunch of bars. And that is the program. I will see you hopefully in part 2.